Hey everybody, it's Christine, and today I have a new video using the ScrapRoom kit. This time I am using the double shot kit for September, and I am working with the Paige Evans collection that's within it. As you can see, this patterned paper is absolutely gorgeous. It's made up of all different patterns within a quilting design, and I am kind of torn on how to use it because there's just so much going on. It's so pretty, and you hate to leave any of the great patterns out, which is the beauty of a paper like this, because you can really make it stretch. So what I ended up deciding to do is to use the outside pieces. So not the square piece in the middle, but the rectangles along the outside of each quilt piece, if you will. And I am going to just create a one-of-a-kind background using these along the left-hand side of my layout. And I'm going to use, I started out thinking I was going to go with boy colors, and so I really kind of went that route. However, as I got to the end of my layout, I realized it would really work for two pictures. So you definitely want to check that out in my thumbnail. I ended up going with a two picture layout, and it has a boy and a girl on it. And part of the reason I did that is at the end of it, I felt like the vibe of the layout was not very masculine, despite my efforts. Sometimes the efforts to make a masculine layout fail. and that was just the case. I just kept looking at it. I was like, first of all, it needs more than one picture. Second of all, it just does not work for a teenage boy layout as it is. So I went down the route of changing it to be a two picture layout. So as you look at this video and you see it, you're going to see me only put on one, but my final product, it does have two. Now, as you can see, I am slowly layering these on there. This is not a fast process by any means. It takes a while to cut them all apart, as well as to put them on there and not have, the same color next to each other or two dotted patterns next to each other. But the end result is a really pretty grouping that comes together, and worth the time. Worth it to take your time and go slowly. So now you can see it is coming together quickly. Obviously, I didn't want to make you sit here for 20 minutes watching me go line by line. But you can see how it is coming together to take on a really great colorful background. You can also see where I was at with that it still doesn't have a very masculine feel to it. In spite of my efforts, in spite of putting all that blue in there, blue can work for boys or girls. And it had to go down the route of working both ways. One of the most fun parts of this was picking out which patterns I did want to use and which ones I didn't, and then flipping them over and using the B side. Now, I'm going to trim off the excess because I do have some excess. I was trying to stagger it so that they lined up horizontally, but not vertically. Had to think about that for a minute there. And I did that. So I did that intentionally, and wanting to make sure that things didn't line up too much. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is just tear off some of this beautiful blue patterned paper and add a strip of that to make a clear separation between the white and the patterns. I love that the trend of tearing paper is back in because I really feel like it just adds a nice touch to a layout. I'm not over the top on trends, but especially as far as not wanting to use something even if it's not trendy. But there is something to be said, if you don't see it a lot, you don't necessarily want to do it for some reason. And so I love that it's back in, and it can help break up some of those rigid lines that we can get on our layouts without having to go, too far down mixed media or any of that stuff. Now, you can see from my picture right here why I really wanted all the blue in there. My son is wearing this bright royal blue shirt, and it really went well with the colors of this patterned paper and of this page kit. So I really wanted to include that and make the picture pop that way, particularly because I've got so many patterns on there right now that the blues in his shirt really help to still keep the eye focused on the picture itself. I am going to build my title, and I'm going to do that using a combination of elements from the page kit and Florence alphabets from Bella Boulevard. Now, keep in mind with the double shot page kit, you get 2 page kits. You get cardstock, you get patterned papers, and you get some embellishments. You will probably need to add a little bit more to your embellishing or add a little more to your title. That's kind of just expected. She's given you a little bit of a taste of the collection, but it doesn't always work out that you can get every single part of your layout from the kit. Every once in a while I can, but usually there's a few little pieces here and there that I pull in. And the way I do that is I have a drawer in my room that is leftovers from old ScrapRoom kits, so leftover embellishments. And there's always leftovers. So I keep that drawer right there by my desk. So when I'm working on this, I can open up that drawer and say, okay, do I have anything in here right off the bat that will work that I haven't used previously? And then I'll go to letter stickers or things like that. So it's a real easy way to make your kits stretch from month to month too. Make sure you save those extras because they do work well later on. You know, a gold foiled word is a gold foiled word and it can work on just about any layout with gold foiling on it, etc. So that's how I make my things stretch and how I make it work when I do need extra title work. In this case, I just use some extra alphabet stickers. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is add in a few little pieces. I'm going to add in some white circles just to break up all the patterns that I've got going on right now. It was a little bit overwhelming and I felt like I needed some white on that page or that side of the page. So I'm going to add in some white circles. I'm going to add in some little ephemera pieces. You can also see that I added in a huge long line of journaling, perfect for all that white space that I had going on. And telling the story of what this day was all about. As I said, it does not remain a single picture layout, and I will show you that at the end so you can see how I added in an additional picture. But you can see overall, this layout is made up of patterned paper, okay? Not a whole lot going on beyond patterned paper from this page kit. Finally, I'm going to add on just a few little puffy stickers and some mist splatters and call it good. Pretty straightforward layout. Like I said, not a lot of embellishments, but a lot of, especially one beautiful patterned paper. Thank you so much for joining me today. Be sure to stay tuned here at the end and see how I finished it off with that second picture. And be sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I'm glad to have you here. Thanks so much for watching.